They were actually...
Okay, it's a little wet. All right, so it's a little cool. But we've got Nolan Ryan, and tonight the heat is on. In the 60s, mankind took a giant leap with a walk on the moon, and a man took one small step in an amazing career. Nolan Ryan was on the Miracle Mets pitching staff and had a World Series ring in only a second year in the bigs. Hey, this guy was already a graduate, while other future Texas Rangers were just being born. In the 70s, from the White House, we heard, "I am not a crook," but there was change anyway. We all had the fever as disco ruled. Ryan was staying alive, authoring 4 no-hitters. His future teammates were learning their craft in Little League. In the 80s, we all watched MTV, and Ronald Reagan, well, had the economy booming. Some were making money for nothing, but Nolan Ryan earned every cent, notching his 5th no-hitter and notching his 5,000th strikeout. Meanwhile, future Rangers star stock was soaring elsewhere. Now it's the 90s. Family values. A Democrat is the head of the house, and the children of the 70s have grown up. Sure, his body's a little achy-breaky, but Nolan will pump it up in 93 and add to these incredible numbers. Now 7 no-hitters, 320 wins, 5,673 Ks. And with Canseco, Palmeiro, Palmer, and Gonzalez all grown up, Nolan Ryan has plenty of reason to smile. Do the Rangers have Nolan Ryan's fastball? They have long ball. One going Gonzalez leads the majors with 5 homers, hitting a pair against the Orioles Monday night. And the Rangers lead the majors with 14 for a team. Long ball and fastball have the Rangers off to a quick start. From Arlington Stadium, Nolan Ryan leads the Texas Rangers at home, the team with the best record in the American League, at 6-1 against the Baltimore Orioles. Hello once again, everybody. I'm Chris Berman along with Dave Campbell, and I think that every time Nolan Ryan pitches this year in his farewell tour, it becomes an event. But will there become events of Nolan Ryan pitching in October? The Rangers have a lot, Dave.
Well, Chris, I think that's a big question. Nolan obviously would like to go out on top. He won a world championship with the Mets in 1969. The Rangers have really shored up the defense, bringing in Billy Ripken. They're going to get Manny Lee back maybe this weekend, but they made 154 errors last year, but they look better in the early going defensively.
I'll tell you who does not look good very early, but that's because they've played the Rangers 4 times and lost all 4 times. The Baltimore Orioles. Now, they came out of nowhere to contend last year. This year, they begin the season as contenders. Was last year an aberration, or is this week an aberration for them?
I think basically this week is an aberration. Spring training, the big 4 in their rotation went 12-2 with a 2.46 ERA. Right now, none of those guys are really pitching well. So you've got to figure maybe the first week was not so good for the Orioles. Johnny Oates kind of chewed them out last night. Maybe they're ready to roll tonight.
Well, Ben McDonald's excited to pitch against Nolan Ryan. Who wouldn't be? We're excited to have you along with us from Texas. We'll be back.
ESPN Major League Baseball is brought to you by Miller High Life Beer. When the time is your own, it must be Miller time. By Pizza Hut, who reminds you that any time's a great time to stop and smell the pizza. And by Rude Air Conditioning and Heating. You can rely on Rude.
It's your home the day your cooling goes out.
I think we need help now.
Rude is ready to solve your cooling problems with reliable Rude products and straight answers. His job's not done until you're comfortable.
Ah, home sweet home.
You can rely on it.
Rely on Rude.
If your old saw is just not cutting it, try a Black & Decker Saw Force. With better balance and up to 50% more power, it always makes the cut. The Black & Decker Saw Force. If your ordinary drill could be this Black & Decker, it would have up to 30% more power. and a keyless chuck for easy bit changes. Then you'd have no ordinary drill. You'd have this Black & Decker. Now get great deals during Black & Decker's home improvement days.
Gary Miller back in the studio. We'll get you out to Arlington in just a moment as Nolan Ryan gets set for his warm-ups. But first, let's catch up on what's happening elsewhere in the majors thus far. Starting in the National League, where they're underway, the Phils with the best record in the majors. The Reds, though, try to break a scoreless tie. Joe Oliver flies to right. Wes Chamberlain is there and up and gunning. Here comes Randy Milligan racing for the plate, and he is meat. Darren Dalton holds on. The Phils get 2 in their half, and they lead Cincinnati 2-0 as they bat again in the third. The Marlins win their first road game, snapping the Giants' 4-game winning streak. Mike Harkey comes off the disabled list in a combined shutout over the Braves. Astros are up 2-0 in the fourth. The rest of the games are later. To the American League we go, and Mo Vaughn is really the hit dog so far this year. Against Dennis Cook and the Indians, 4 for 5 in the day. Here he is knocking in one of his 4 runs, Mike Greenwell, who scored twice. Greenwell also knocked in a run. He's got 9 RBIs in the season, and the Red Sox continue their hot start, winning that one 12-7. Here's the other scores, including the Yankees beating the Royals, who have won just once this season. We'll keep you posted on everything going on throughout the night, but right now we're ready for baseball. Back out to Arlington.
All right, Gary, thank you. Anticipation every time Nolan Ryan takes to the mound any of his 27 seasons, but this season in particular, as this is last, as the Rangers take the field here in Arlington with the best record in the American League at 6-1, and everyone's eyes peeled to Nolan Ryan as he gets set for his second outing of the year. The Baltimore Orioles have scuffled this year. They're at the other end of the spectrum at 1-6. Let's take a look at what Johnny Oates is trying to do to win this getaway game of the 3-game set. We look at our Energizer Oriole lineup. Brady Anderson off to a hot start left. Mike Devereaux in center field. Cal Ripken at short. No surprise. Designated hitter, Harold Growing-Baines. First baseman is Glenn Davis hitting 5th tonight. Chris Hoyles behind the plate. Cheeto Martinez hitting 7th in right field. Tim Hewlett gets the nod at 3rd tonight. Harold Reynolds, one of the 2 new Harolds on these Orioles teams. He hits 9th, and that's the lineup that Nolan Ryan, Dave, will attempt to tame.
Lynn Nolan Ryan, 46 years old, his 27th Major League season, which sets an all-time Major League record. Previous high, Tommy John and Deacon McGuire, a long time ago catcher, played 26 years. 6 times in his career, struck out 300 more. Fastball curve, and he has come up with a circle change over the last few years. There's his career numbers, 320, 287, 5,673 strikeouts, which is 1,500 more than the next closest man, Steve Carlton. Defensively behind him, Doug Strange fills in for Dean Palmer. Palmer was hit by Fernando last night on the elbow. He's out. Benji Gill, the 20-year-old shortstop, filling in while Manny Lee recuperates. Billy Ripken at second and Rafael Palmeiro at first. Juan Gonzalez, who played center last year, moves to left. David Hulse, a good fly hawk, but not too good a thrower in center. And Jose Canseco in right. And the man who can throw is Ivan Rodriguez. He threw out 49% last year. Billy Ripken coming over from the Baltimore Orioles. One of the things the Rangers really had problems with last year was their defense. You see his fielding percentage, the best in the American League. His lifetime fielding percentage is .987. And one thing they wanted the Rangers to do, as Brother Cal looks on, was catch the ball better this year for the pitching staff.
And Billy certainly has done that. Made a big play the other night. We talked to Cal as we look at Nolan warm up. Talked to Cal before the game. He said, yes, it's pretty strange looking at Billy Ripken making plays against us. Well, we come to Texas. We expect the short sleeve shirt and kind of little afternoon tan. Not the case tonight in Arlington. 48 degrees, light rain. Rained heavier late this morning. It kind of stopped early in the afternoon. Wind blowing out to center field, which may not help for Nolan Ryan's fastball, but it will help, Dave, Juan Gonzalez's long ball.
Boy, I'll tell you, he's been swinging the bat some kind of hot. He's usually a player who doesn't emerge till June, July, and August every year. Last year, he had 31 home runs in those 3 months. He's off to a flying start. This guy had a great year last year for the Oaks.
And speaking of flying start, Brady Anderson is off to a very good one, hitting at 400. He's already 12 for 30, and keep in mind, here's a guy that usually had not hit lefties very well. And the 6 of the 7 pitchers that the Baltimore Orioles have faced thus far this year have been lefties, and he's hitting 400. Here's a righty, Nolan Ryan, and Brady said, well, it's my 6th year in the majors. I'm looking for my first hit off. Do you think he'll stick around for 6 more so I can get one?
He better do it this year.
Anderson hits one down the right field line, and it's a foul ball. Very close, but Mike Riley, the first base umpire, waved it foul. So he almost had his hit.
And Brady, no argument from Brady Anderson nor first base coach Davey Lopes. Mike Riley smiling, and that wind probably didn't help that ball. Brady says, man, am I ever going to get a hit off this guy? Gets good contact. Ball looked fair all the way, and right at the last second,
Good call.
just foul.
Good call by Mike Riley. Dave Phillips behind the plate tonight. Rocky Rowe at second base. Dave Scott. Great Scott, the umpire at third base. As the Orioles try and dig in against Nolan Ryan. Ryan making his second start of the year. Pitched the home opener Friday night. He got the win against the Boston Red Sox. Pitch is way outside, 2-1. Leadoff man here in the top of the first inning in a day better suited for the Cotton Bowl.
Fans down here still celebrating the Cowboys' victory in the Super Bowl.
Oh, you noticed, did you? Well, they hope to make a little headlines here with this ball club this year, David. And I think for the way the AL West has gone, that the champion of the division may not win the 98 to 99 games that the Oaklands and Minnesotas usually do.
Yeah.
But they can sneak right in there, have a shot.
Division leaders today, Boston, Philadelphia, and Texas, along with Atlanta. So Brady Anderson gets the lead walk. He had 98 of those last year, and Nolan Ryan starts with a leadoff walk.
Well, Nolan was way outside with 3 of those 4 balls. Looks like he's out of sync, at least to the first batter, working him way out.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a chilly night here. He spent a little time. In fact, he was late coming out to the mound. Maybe he didn't get totally loose in the bullpen because the Rangers kept waiting for him to come back into the dugout. Nolan was a little tardy getting out there.
Well, Brady Anderson had a great year last year and has continued it with a hot first week. Mike Devereaux's great year last year, but he's started off very slowly, just 6 for 35. Nolan having trouble finding the plate. The count is 1-0. Well, Anderson and Devereaux, reasons A and B why the Orioles were contenders last year.
Got 110 RBIs out of the number 2 spot in the order, mostly Devereaux, which was 18 more than any other team in baseball. Devereaux was phenomenal. 107 RBIs last year with the bases loaded, knocked in 38. It's going to be tough to repeat those numbers.
He hit almost 500 with the bases loaded, Dave. This year he's 0 for 5 with the sacks full. That kind of underscores his early scuffling. Here's the going to the top of the mitt, but up top for a ball, and it's 2-0 in the crowd, letting Dave Phillips here behind the plate.
Well, they may be a little concerned about Nolan, too, but if you're the pitching coach, Claude Osteen, what do you go out and tell a guy that's pitched 27 years in the major leagues about his mechanics? Nolan, type of guy that usually knows how to make his own adjustments. If he's high, he knows that means he's rushing his body a little too much.
Ground ball to third, backing up is Strange, and it throws a ground ball to second base. A very strange throw, and the first 2 men are on for the Orioles.
See how they score it. They probably will call it a base hit, maybe a fielder's choice, but Strange just got handcuffed by the ball, and a lot of rain. Maybe he got some mud in his spikes that went right on the seat of his pants, and you can't do much with your feet up in the way. You couldn't even make a throw.
No, I don't think he would have gotten Babe Ruth running into second base, do you?
Nah. Yeah, the Babe could run. He stole home 10 times.
That's right, I know. I knew you'd know that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sneak one past you this early in the game, I know.
The Bambino.
Base hit for Devereaux, so 2 on, just like last year. Anderson and Devereaux on the base pass, but last year, Cal Ripken, this man at the plate who was playing consecutive game number 1,743. Last year, Cal had his low year, average in home runs and RBIs. He started off pretty well, though, and if Anderson and Devereaux get going, and a big year from Ripken, it's going to be tough to top that top third of the order.
Well, Harold Baines behind him provides a left-handed bat against right-handed pitching. They're hoping the thing that really killed the Orioles last year was their 3, 4, and 5 hitters. Ripken, Davis, and Milligan. They've got none of them hit.
Count is 1-0 to Cal Ripken. Nolan Ryan struggling here in the first inning. A walk and an infield single. And that's ball 2. I talked to Cal before the game, and he I said, look, you faced him many, many times. I mean, you guys have been on all-star teams together. What is it like facing Nolan Ryan for you? And he said, well, every other pitcher, you try and go up there in your head, make him feel normal, maybe do something in the batter's box, and he's not a god, he's just a normal guy. To be honest with you, I can't make myself think that about Nolan Ryan. Skies this one. Does Rodriguez have room behind the plate? No.
Now, the man on deck, Harold Baines, is hitting .368 lifetime against Nolan with 4 home runs. So this is a big hitter for Ryan. He could be in big trouble in the first inning if Ripken gets aboard. Here's the slow motion shot of Nolan. I'll tell you, that ball looks pretty good to hit right there in slow motion. Doesn't look so good when you're up there looking at the raw heat.
90 miles an hour. Last pitch. Fast for most. Slow for him. Count is 2-1 to Cal Ripken. 2 on, none out, top of the first inning. Orioles and the Rangers. Teams with opposite records thus far this year. Rangers 6-1, the Orioles 1-6. As we mentioned, Texas 4-0 early on against these Orioles. Now held off, and it's a strike call by Dave Phillips. 2-2.
You might think with Johnny Oates trying to shake up his troops, they've really been lethargic offensively. They haven't pitched too well, that might be a pretty good hit-and-run situation. But against a guy like Nolan Ryan, you're really reluctant to start the runners because, first of all, he's a little wild tonight. Second of all, you're never guaranteed you're going to make contact, even with a great hitter like Ripken. So Oates probably, discretion was the better part of valor there. He didn't start his runners, and it's probably a good thing because Ryan threw a perfect curveball for a strike.
2-2 the count. We go full. 3-2. Good eye by Ripken.
Well, a lot of times the biggest pitch in the game is in the 9th inning, everything on the line, but sometimes there's a point early in a game where a crucial pitch, and I think this is going to be a crucial pitch. Probably the runners are going to start, and with Baines, who kills Ryan on deck, this could be a very crucial pitch early in this game tonight.
Brady Anderson, the runner at second base. Mike Devereaux at first. Count is full to Cal Ripken with none out here in the top of the first. Runner's bluffed on and strike 3. Into the glove of Rodriguez, and Ripken will sit down. So earlier tonight, Ryan issued walk number 2,758, which of course he adds to his lifetime total. This is strikeout number 5,674.
Number 3.
Well, this is a fastball that runs in, and somebody missed a sign because Devereaux was running to second, but Anderson didn't take off from second base. Mike got about 30 feet down the line, all of a sudden decided, whoa, I better get back. So I think Brady Anderson was supposed to go and didn't. Might have been a blessing, though.
That pitch was 93 miles an hour, his fastest thrown tonight, and there's the number that you mentioned, Dave. Harold Baines has done very well against Nolan Ryan, and against right-handed pitchers, often you will see him hit cleanup for the Orioles. This is Tony La Russa used him in cleanup the last couple of years for the Oakland A's against the righties. Baines, of course, spent some time here in Texas. A much heralded trade.
There's that word herald again.
Yeah, well, we're going to use it often tonight. Big trade with the Chicago White Sox after a brilliant career there. In July of '89. Came down here for Scott Fletcher, Sammy Sade Sosa, and Wilson Alvarez. And then, of course, he was off packet to Oakland the next year for Joe Bittger and Scott Champerino. That's one that I don't think Texas got their money's worth on.
Now Harold wearing number 3 again. His number 3 is retired with the White Sox. He wore number 3 with Oakland and wearing number 3 with the Orioles. I don't think he'll get traded to the Yankees.
Count is, no, I don't think so. Count is 2-0. If he does, he will not wear number 3. There's the strike. It's 2-1.
There's a great story in Oakland. Jamie Quirk was wearing number 3, and Baines got traded over there. La Russa called him in and said, Jamie, we need you to give up number 3. He said, why? Did we get Babe Ruth in a trade?
Jamie's always the quick wit. Pitch outside for Nolan. It's 3-1. For Harold Baines, he, of course, is going home. Grew up about 90 minutes from Baltimore and Maryland's Eastern Shore. Still lives there. So for him, at the end of a long run in the majors, Not a long run compared to Nolan Ryan's long run, but for a nice career, he gets to play at home. Count is 3-1 with 2 on and 1 out. And there's the second walk of the inning, and the bases are full for Glenn Davis. So Nolan continues to labor out there.
Number 27, first baseman
Glenn Davis, who had a good second half of the season, but the first week of this season, he's really been in the dumps. What a spot for him to unload.
Chris, I just wonder if he's pressing a little bit. There's been rumors saying that they're going to give Davis a full shot for about a month, but if he doesn't produce, then maybe they'll just let him go and bring in David Segui. He's not off to a good start. Crucial at bat early for him, if that's the Oriole thinking.
Anderson, Devereaux, and Baines, your base runners, with 1 out here in the Oriole first. Pitch bounces away from Rodriguez, but he's there and Nolan into the plate. Nolan gimped in a little bit.
Well, Nolan's had very few arm problems in his life. He's had 1 elbow operation, but most of the time he's had groin pulls, hamstring pulls, thigh contusions. See Rodriguez down blocking it with his body. Did a nice job of smothering it. And Rodriguez hustles over after it. Good job by Pudge. Good technique to keep that ball in front of him.
This is pitch number 21 already coming up for Nolan Ryan. Not quite the command that he had on Friday night when he went 6 innings against the Red Sox. Did not allow an earned run, giving up only 4 hits. Anderson scores. Devereaux around third. He'll score without a throw. Davis's single makes it 2-0 Orioles.
Well, for the Baltimore Orioles, coming in here 1-6 and having to face Ryan, certainly not a pleasant task. But they know they're a team that's supposed to contend in the East. That's a very big hit for Glenn Davis. Big hit for the Orioles. They get 2 runs early off Ryan. Perfectly placed between Doug Strange and Benji Gill. And you have to think back to that ground ball to Strange. That could have been a double play under some circumstances. Nolan would have been out of the inning, but that's if and but.
So Davis increases his RBI total by 200%. At 1, now has 3. And Nolan Ryan, by far and away, is not out of this jam as Chris bubbles, foils, and troubles. The catcher steps up. Foils a 20-homer season last year, although an interesting 20-homer season in that he drove in only 40 runs. That's the lowest total ever, RBIs, for a man that hit 20 or more homers. However, he would have hit more home runs and driven in more runs had he not been injured for the better part of 2 months.
Yeah, absolutely. He really had problems against left-handed pitching, too, surprisingly, for a right-handed batter. You know, the Orioles have actually gotten 2 breaks in the inning, though. One was Strange, the falling down. The other one was, I think, Brady Anderson missing that sign, because had he run on the Ripken strikeout, he would not have had a good jump off second, because Ryan was keeping him close. It probably would have been a double play. So but maybe the Orioles feel, hey, we got a few breaks coming our way.
That's right. They feel that every game but last night's game here in Texas, they could have won. Orioles swings through that baseball, and it's 1-2.
I haven't talked too much about Nolan's mound opponent tonight, Ben McDonald, but it's going to be a big night for him. We watch Ryan in slow motion, super slow motion again, pouring that fastball through there. And Hoyles, you can see that ball's by him.
Even at that super slow motion, that's faster than the pitches we saw on opening day from Charlie Huff in full motion.
Yeah, we mentioned big night for McDonald. He walked 7 in an inning and a third in his debut, so he's had 4 days to stew about that. We'll have to see how he performs tonight.
Baines, the runner at second base. Glenn Davis on at first. He had the 2-run single. Hoyles swings and misses. Second strikeout of the inning for Ryan. 2 down now for Chito Martinez.
Just the Ryan Express, a fastball, and Hoyles right through it. Now, that's in a good hitting zone. It's a little bit out away, but it's down. And sometimes Ryan's pitch down is easier to make contact with than that high fastball, but he just beat Hoyles right in a good zone to hit him.
So 2 walks and 2 strikeouts and 2 singles thus far against Ryan here in the first inning. Chito Martinez and Ryan working him way outside, misses ball 1. All the right fielders, and Oates is using 3 of them. None of them have really taken a foothold here early in this 93 season.
Strange thing is, Chris, that normally 70% of all pitches thrown in the major leagues in a given year are thrown by right-handers. But the Orioles, this is only the second right-hander they've seen. So Cheeto, this is only the second game he's started.
Cheeto Martinez, Luis Mercedes, and Sherman Obando. Not Sal Bando, but Sherman Obando are the right field platoons thus far. And as he did with Anderson, working him way outside, he's the same with Martinez and falls behind 3-0.
Is Obando, is that Irish-Italian?
I don't know what that is.
Sherman, I think, is from Latin America.
He's from Panama.
Panama.
Martinez taking all the way on the 3-0, and it's in there for a strike. 2 runs are in here in the Oriole first. Baines at second base. Davis at first. 2 down. And the number 7 hitter, Cheeto Martinez, looks in at the 3-1 pitch. Way behind that one. The count is full.
Nothing wrong with Nolan's stuff tonight, although it did seem to take him a little time to get the feel out there in the mound, and maybe the cold weather had some kind of an effect on him. But he's really airing it out right now, but he's got to be over the 30-pitch plateau already.
Yeah, this is number 30 coming up. Count is full. Runners going with 2 down. Appeal no, says Dave Scott at third, and the bases are full once again. So the third walk issued by Nolan Ryan here in inning number 1
number 36
has now loaded the sacks for the number 8 hitter, Tim Hewlett.
Ball clearly low. They asked for an appeal. I don't think Cheeto went. What do you think? Nah.
No. We talk about a big batter or a big pitch. Hewlett. Short left field. Gonzalez coming on and hangs up there long enough for him. And the Orioles leave the bases full. They had Nolan Ryan on the ropes. They did touch him for 2. And we head to the bottom of the first. 2-0 Orioles.
The Lone Ranger.
What's that masked man who stopped the horses?
I don't know, but he give me this.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going and...
I like to dream. Yes, right between the machine. On the cloud side, I drift in the night. Any place that goes is right. Flies near.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
You don't know.
Bottom of the first inning on a chilly, slightly damp evening in Arlington, Texas. And here's our Energizer lineup of the Texas Rangers that keeps going and going. And David Holtz will lead off at center field. Rafael Emerson, Lake, and Palmero at first base. Jose Canseco in right field hitting third. Juan Gonzalez. 5 home runs in left field. Julio Generalissimo Franco is the DH hitting fifth. Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate hitting sixth. Doug People Are Strange, the third baseman tonight with Palmer out. Billy Ripken at second base hitting eighth. And the 20-year-old Benji Gill at shortstop against 6'7" Big Ben McDonald for the Orioles. And you mentioned start one was not one he wants to write home about.
Well, the 7 base on balls, and that was not the kind of spring Ben McDonald had. He had a very good spring. He was coming out extremely confident. He'd come up with a cut fastball and a changeup to go with his good fastball and curve. Confidence is a big thing with Ben McDonald. He was rated the best pitcher in college baseball ever coming out. He hasn't fulfilled his promise just yet, but we'll have to see if he can get it in gear and have a good year this year. Tim Hewlett gets the nod at third base in place of Leo Gomez tonight. Cal Ripken, 2 straight Gold Gloves at second. Harold Reynolds has 3 Gold Gloves to his name. And Glenn Davis is at first. Brady Anderson will win a Gold Glove before he's through and left. Mike Devereaux, a good center fielder, and Chino Martinez in right. Chris Hoyles is the catcher. And Hoyles is a guy who threw out the fewest in the major leagues last year, only 15%, but off well this year, throwing out 6 out of 11. So he has done much better. 20%. One statistical book says 20, the other one says 15.
I read 15.
Yeah.
Well, hey, we're trying to help him out a little bit.
Make him feel good.
The year before, he was not that low at all. He was in the 33, 34 range.
A lot of high leg kicks. Rick Sutcliffe, very slow delivery to the plate. McDonald, slow to the plate. Messina's the one guy who holds runners pretty well on the staff.
Here's David Holtz, and Tim Hewlett, the third baseman, is in on the grass looking for a bunt. Remember, with the rain, they did not take the batting practice today, so that they did have the tarp on the field, but you can see some wet spots, and you can drop one down real nicely. It'll die right there for you. And Hewlett is in looking. Holtz swings to that pitch by McDonald. It's 0-2.
I can tell by looking at your shoes, you visited the Baltimore clubhouse.
Yes.
You slot through wind, rain. You were like a postman.
That's right.
Nothing was going to keep you from your appointed rounds today.
Well, it is an interesting trip to the clubhouses here, right, Dave?
You bet.
A different trip next year. New ballpark. They're building just a Juan Gonzalez home run over the center field fence from us. We'll talk about that as the night goes on. It's going to be spectacular next year. Holtz is swinging late and bounces that one into the photographer's bin.
One of the problems the Rangers have had and are going to continue to have if the pattern stays the way it has been is finding a leadoff man. David Holtz last year in Double-A walked only 24 times, struck out 108. So that's not your prototype numbers for a leadoff man. He hit 285. Doug DeCenso's played some. Gary Reedus played last night in center field and hit a home run, but the Rangers would like to find a bona fide leadoff man.
Because what follows their leadoff man in the order is some serious heavy metal. That one is bounced, and Hoyles makes a nice play.
Some tremendous firepower.
Some serious firepower. Now, they lead the majors in home runs at 14, and we should point out that in all 7 of their games, the Rangers have gone deep at least once. You can see that the rain, I mean, it's not heavy drops, but certainly the parkas and the umbrellas are out. 1-2 pitch, and Holtz fouls back, so the count remains the same. We talked about the home runs. 14 to see 10 of them have come against the Orioles, who can't wait to have this series end, and then they don't see the Rangers till later on in the year. And we told you that Gonzalez leads the majors with 5, and number 2 in the American League, Dean Palmer, not in the lineup tonight with 4.
Got a kick out of that graphic. 10 home runs the Orioles have given up in 4 games to the Rangers. You know, this Orioles staff one time gave up 10 in one game, the major league record back in 1987 to the Blue Jays.
And that was the game that broke Cal's consecutive inning streak.
Yeah, he came out of that one early.
For him, it was the 8th inning. Holtz thought he had drawn the base on balls, but he forgot that was only ball 3.
Yeah, I don't know, down in Double-A Tulsa, maybe, David, they had ball 3 was a walk, but up here it takes 4.
Well, you can be sure that in the Kangaroo Court, he will be doling it out.
Well, Ben McDonald facing a little bit of a crisis early on. Again, coming off a 7-walk, 1 1/3 inning performance. He started out throwing strikes, but now Holtz has run the count full.
Ground ball is short. Cal Ripken. Holtz with good speed, but the throw to Davis just beats him. And there's 1 out. Well, every grounder is in slow motion tonight, Dave.
Well, the turf is wet. We've had a lot of rain here the last couple of days, and besides that, this has never been one of the smoother pastures to play defense on. The Texas Rangers made 154 errors last year. A lot of that was because of bad defense, but this is not one of the better turfs to play on.
Is that the dreaded Kikuyu grass that we're looking at?
That could be.
Or is that Bermuda?
It could be winter rye or something. Yes. I don't know. Kentucky bluegrass.
Rafael Palmeiro off to a slow start, but he missed most of spring training. And you know he will hit, although last year for him, 3 for 26 are not Palmeiro-type numbers, but even last year for him, He's a career .296 hitter. Last year hit only .268, although he went deep 22 times. But we got Palmeiro, Canseco, Gonzalez, Franco, who's won a batting title a couple of years ago. And normally you'd have Dean Palmer. So there's Jose in the on-deck circle. There is no question that the Rangers will be scoring runs. If their pitching is okay, or heaven forbid, good, they may be in this thing for a long while. And something we must remember at all times when discussing the Rangers as the count is 2-1, that these are the Washington Senators.
Well, that could be, Chris, but in the past they've had a lot of wild-throwing right-handers, and they've gone to a bunch of soft-tossing left-handers that throw strikes. So it's going to put a premium on defense, but at least guys like Lefferts and Liebrandt and Kenny Rogers aren't going to be walking the world like past pitchers here. And that's one thing the Rangers think they've improved. They've certainly improved the quality of their bullpen with Tom Henke. Todd Burns is a pretty good setup man.
3-1 pitch to Palmeiro. Ground ball to second base. Harold Reynolds over to Davis, and there are 2 down. So very quickly, and it's always humorous looking at statistics after a week or 2 of the season, because you know they mean nothing. But Ben McDonald's ERA going into the start was 20.25. That's what will happen when you give up 3 runs in an inning in the third. So he'll just about slice that in half if he gets out of this inning.
Well, kind of interestingly, as you can see that rain pelting in on Canseco. The Rangers began last year 6-1. They had 12 home runs after 7 games, and you can remember what happened to the Rangers. They ended up going through 2 managers before the season was out. So, like you said, it's the first week. You can't get too high or too low, but it's a nice start for this franchise.
Ben McDonald has gotten 2 ground ball outs thus far here in the bottom of the first. The rain, I mean, it looks like it's coming in hard. Now, certainly, if you're in the batter's box and facing a fastball, any rain is not good. But I think it looks worse than it actually is. There's a strike in the inside corner, which Canseco didn't appreciate. 1-1. Jose by McDonald.
Yeah, Jose fighting a little bit of a slump as well. 1 for 13. In fact, Marty Ernoff gave us a note. You take Franco, Gonzalez, and Palmer out of this lineup, and Palmer is out tonight. The Rangers are only hitting 190, but with the firepower and the long ball, they've gotten a lot of instant runs.
See, Marty, quality Aronoff getting on the air here. We're not even out of the first.
Yes, Marty on the air, Aronoff. Three mentions. That's it for the night, Marty.
All right, you're done,
take a shower.
As all the fans are here at Arlington. Count is 2-1 with 2 down, nobody on. Big Ben McDonald, number 1 pick out of LSU, and he was all excited to be pitching against Nolan Ryan. I read the quote correctly, 2-1 pitch. Canseco swings and misses. I read it correctly. He said, I was hoping to pitch against Nolan Ryan before I retire, said McDonald.
I'll tell you what, again, we mentioned at the onset, he was the highest-rated pitcher ever by the Major League Scouting Bureau coming out of LSU, and he has not fulfilled the promise that a lot of people thought he would to this point, but he still has a lot of raw talent, and the Orioles are hopeful he's going to become a quality Major League pitcher. He gave up 32 home runs last year, which was second only to Bill Gullickson.
Ground ball to third. Tim Hewlett, long throw across to Davis. In time. And so Ben McDonald's ERA was 20.25. Hey, it's down to 11.57. 2-0 O's.
For over a decade of adult entertainment at its best, it's the Traffic Light Lounge in Mount Clemens. The Traffic Light Lounge is one of the few suburban gentlemen's clubs featuring continuous live adult entertainment and some of the best bodies on the east side. Check out the spread every Monday through Friday with the Traffic Light's daily lunch special, served from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Traffic Light Lounge on Joy Boulevard, 1 mile east of Gratiot and 1 mile south of M59 in Mount Clemens. Call 468-8900. Dare to compare.
These days, when you listen to the radio, it seems like all you ever hear is commercials, 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 only to be interrupted by...
Nobody plays more music than hits 109, but that's not until I...
That's why we're introducing digital cable radio. With digital cable radio hooked to your stereo, all you'll hear is music. 24 hours of uninterrupted music. There's rock, jazz, and country. 19 channels, 19 formats. Call Comcast Cable now and get free installation of digital cable radio.
With its luxurious leather-trimmed interior, the the Acura Legend sedan is a remarkably pleasant place to be. It also features a 200-horsepower engine, in case you really want to get away. The 1993 Acura Legend sedan. Lease a Legend L for just $399 a month. See your Acura dealer for details.
Genuine Draft brings you this date in baseball. It was a quarter century ago that Nolan Ryan got his first victory. Notice the strikeout ratio. Let's go back to our cold one with Boomer and Dave.
That was then. This is now. Hard to believe, isn't it? 27 seasons in the bigs.
1966. Trying to think what I was doing in 66. Struggling somewhere in the minor leagues.
You know what I was doing? I was struggling as an 11-year-old. Not to make you feel up there, but...
yeah, but I signed when I was 8.
So, strike one to Harold Reynolds as we begin the second inning. As we told you, the Orioles with 2 new Harolds in the offseason. Harold Baines and this man, Harold Reynolds. All-star with the Seattle Mariners a couple times. And Ryan looks a little bit stronger this inning to start. As he starts Reynolds off, the number 9 hitter with a pair of strikes.
Well, they had 32 pitches to get loose in the first.
And Harold, a little water in the eye, as we're going to have from time to time tonight.
Someone's probably throwing about 26 fastballs, a few breaking balls. Haven't seen a change yet.
Slap to third baseman Doug Strange. Across to Palmeiro, and Reynolds is gone. 1 out in the Orioles second. Strange looked a little better on that one than he did on the ball that ate him up.
Yeah, that play hurt Ryan, no question about it. Doug just got caught in between hops, and the force of the ball just knocked him down with the bad footing down there. So, you know, again, Dean Palmer out. He got hit by Fernando in the elbow last night. Went and had x-rays. The x-rays were negative, but he had a lot of swelling. Actually, from the elbow all the way down to the wrist. Just hit him just right, or just wrong in that case. So Palmer not in there tonight.
Brady Anderson walked and scored a run on Glenn Davis's 2-run single in the first inning. Brady with the longest sideburns in the league. All-Star last year, and that was a lot of fun for him with the All-Star game being in San Diego. Swinging at the first pitch and fouls it back because Brady grew up in the area. Carlsbad.
Went to UC Irvine. He was an anteater.
Yes.
Anteater.
Not many can be anteaters.
Very true. I saw Greg Hibbard the other day for the... Who's he with the Cubs now? His sideburns are right down there with Brady's, yeah.
Yeah, but we all had him back then when Nolan broke in, didn't we?
Oh, boy.
Well, maybe I didn't at 11, but eventually I did.
I see a couple of those photos from those days and went, whoa.
The strike. It's 1-1. Hey, Nolan had the burns a little bit. 1-2 the count now. Nolan had the burns back then.
Did indeed, and he throws the burning bender right here. This is the curveball. Look at the spin coming in on that, and Brady just paralyzed going, whoa.
Ground ball that Davis gobbles up. Palmeiro over to Ryan. Whoa! Didn't get there in time.
You talked about seeing Nolan limping earlier. He definitely was limping, and he still is. So something is bothering Ryan. Ryan was late getting off the mound, and I don't think Brady Anderson stepped on him. I think it's just some kind of a pull he has. Watch how the ball is hit. Nolan kind of hesitates and goes. Well, when you're that age, you can't hesitate. Let's see if Brady steps on him, or is this some kind of a... Oh, it's a muscle pull. He started limping before he even got there. Nolan's had Achilles problems, hamstring problems, calf, whatever. Most of the problems have been leg problems in his career. Again, one elbow operation, never shoulder.
Well, there's the hit as they scored that Brady Anderson was looking for off Nolan Ryan.
Got it with the wheels.
And made Nolan work on it, too.
Well, let's see if Brady runs. Ryan with kind of a slow delivery, but with Pudge Rodriguez, he's a great equalizer back there.
Devereaux, the base hit. He also scored on that Davis 2-run single. Skied at second base. Billy Ripken looking up into the raindrops. Makes the play. 2 down. As you see some scores.
Shortstop Cal Ripken.
Sticky Wickman with a good job today for the Yankees. And the Reds, Mo Vaughn.
Mike Easler's got him straightened out. He's been hitting since the first day of spring training. I thought Rich Amaro is leading the American League in doubles.
And the Marlins with a road win. I mean, at the expense of the Giants, but
Atlanta,
our Marlins.
Yeah, Atlanta not hitting a lick, but that pitching's keeping them on top.
Here's Cal Ripken up against Nolan Ryan, and it's strike 1.
How about those Phillies? 6-0 lead. They're on their way to their 8th win tonight.
Now, the Phillies are kind of a gas house gang revisited. Maybe not Frankie Frisch and all those guys and Dizzy, but some of them are maybe half dizzy.
Yeah, they got a new victim they can begin tormenting probably tonight, Mark Davis. And sometimes has a little bit of a fragile ego. That Philly group will get a hold of him. They'll either ruin him or make him mean, one or the other.
They're going to have fun, those Phillies. There's no question about that. Ripken behind 0-2 to Nolan Ryan. Ryan, if you're tuning in late, struggled in the first, walk 3, gave up a couple of hits and 2 runs. Did strike out 2 in the first inning, and now has Ripken behind 0-2. Ground ball. Palmeiro just doesn't make the play. And Anderson all the way over to third base.
Well, we've heard of guys losing ground balls in the sun. Billy Lowe's did it in the World Series one time, but I think in this case, he lost a ground ball in the lights when he put the hand up, and the light banks there. A lot of players say that it's a very difficult place to see, and you can see Palmeiro was just flat blinded by the lights. So you can lose it in the sun, you can lose a ground ball in the lights, and that's exactly what happened. They give him a base hit. I was talking to a couple of people from the Rangers, Jerry Fraley, one of the writers, and he says outfielders really complain here about losing a lot of balls because they don't think the lighting is, they think the lighting is the worst of any park with the exception of maybe the Metrodome in baseball.
Well, a rough inning for Rafi over there at first base, blinded by the light. Didn't you think you'd write a song, Manfred? Do you think you could?
Probably could. Probably is one. Blinded by her love. Sounds like a Patsy Cline tune.
Well, down here, that'll work. Every button on the radio is country down here. Count is 1-0 to Harold Baines. There's the pop of the fastball in there for a strike.
Defense making Nolan work overtime today.
I guess so.
Doug Strange and that ball to Palmeiro. But I tell you, I remember playing third base in San Diego. There was a light problem there, and it's still there 20-some years later. Sometimes that light bank just affects high hoppers or low line drives in left field in San Diego.
Foul back count is 1-2. You mean they didn't listen to you at the Murph?
Peter Bavasi, who was the assistant general manager at the time, one time made me stay out after a game until midnight to work with the groundskeeper, and they still didn't get it fixed. They had a guy up on the scaffolding trying to work on the lights, and I kept going, no.
Paying him overtime and everything.
Yeah, it didn't pay me.
No, those are the old Padres. Right?
Yeah, you bet. The expansion Pods.
Count is 1-2 to Harold Baines. Outside and low, 2-2. 47 pitches thus far tonight for Nolan Ryan. And he'll often have that. I mean, he's never, except when he's striking out everybody on 9 pitches. He gets up there, but not that high in inning number 2. That does not portend for a complete game.
No, and the other thing is that whatever that leg problem is probably going to knock him out of this sooner or later, too. I'm sure there'll be a conference with Osteen and Ryan when they come in, but he obviously has some kind of a strain or a pull.
A young man that did not portend for a dry night. A serious parking. Poncho.
Serious weapon. Yes.
Count is 2-2 with 2 out. 2 on. Count is full. Well, we know that Ripken will be off from first base. Anderson with a big lead at third. And in the on-deck circle is Glenn Davis, the man who made Nolan pay with a 2-run single in the first inning. Three-two pitch on the way. swings and fouls it back, and Ripken will go back to first base. So Nolan Ryan in career start number 762. Second on the all-time list, 56 behind
Denton.
Yes, Denton Young. Size, for those of us that knew him well. You read the media guide, and it's like reading baseball history, just reading about Nolan Ryan. Full count pitch on the way to Baines again. Hit the left field. Gonzalez is there. And again, the Orioles strand some runners. Gonzalez will lead off when the Rangers come up in the bottom of the second, trailing 2-0.
This is where it happened. The breakthrough in urethane chemistry that created a car polish so technologically advanced, one application lasts an entire year. Finish 2001. The car polish you use only once every 12 months. This old car's been badly neglected. Its finish appears destroyed. With no rubbing, no buffing, Finish 2001 with its urethane formula safely brings back the showroom shine. A rich, deep gloss shine that lasts an entire year. We tested Finish 2001 against other leading polishes, even some that claim to protect your car against fire or against acid. And the test results? Nothing, but nothing protects or shines better than Finish 2001, the 12-month car polish with a 100% money-back guarantee.
Finish 2001 is available at these fine stores.
When you're thirsty, you need a squirt. Because there's nothing like our refreshing blend of citrus flavors. Give your thirst a squirt.
Settle down. Now, about this new guy with the mulching mower.
We must protect the image of our community.
Why can't he get a Toro recycler lawn more like the rest of them?
His mulcher's not the same. It doesn't work like this Toro recycle.
It can leave clumps and tall grass. It's an eyesore.
I seen this happen over in Oakdale last year.
I'm falling my will.
It's him.
Toro Recycler Lawnmowers for a clean lawn, even in tall grass.
Ozzie Smith leads the Cardinals against the Padres Friday night.
Like magic, they have all the balls on ESPN.
Back in Arlington on a rainy night, Kevin Kennedy, the second youngest manager in the big leagues this year at 38 years of age. The ball club with a great start at 6-1, but not a good start today, down 2-0. But talk about a fast start, Dave Campbell. Juan Gonzalez, who leads the majors with 5 home runs coming up. Julio Franco and Pudge Rodriguez hitting well. And the thing about Gonzalez, as he did on Monday night and he did opening day against the Orioles, when he does things, he does them in pairs. 2 home runs on opening day, 2 home runs on Monday, 2 doubles last night.
He's only 23, and he's already tied the Ranger record for multi-home run games with 10. That tied Larry Parrish. He's got 62 to go to catch the babe. He had 72, but at 23 years of age, who's to say he might not do it? A lot of people feel that this may be the guy that's going to be the next guy to hit 500 home runs. And if he stays on course, he will. He's got tremendous power.
Ben McDonald, 1-0 pitch is up top to Gonzalez. You mentioned he has the 10 multi-homer games, and Babe with the most at 72. Only 5 big leaguers had 50 or more. So 10 at the age of 23 is phenomenal.
He just has an explosive bat. Rangers gave him $75,000 to sign. He also, a great article in Sports Illustrated a couple of weeks ago on him. Wants to be a social worker when he gets done. Visited 52 schools in Puerto Rico this winter. Really wants to be a role model for kids.
Vega Baja, Puerto Rico.
I guess it's a section of that city called Alto de Cuba that really is poor, and that's where he really concentrates his efforts. I suspect we have a few viewers in Puerto Rico tonight.
Yes. So Gonzalez draws the base on balls and looks to draw it over to Gary.
Chris, we're taking to Olympic Stadium where the Astros, Mark Portugal was nursing a lead, but he didn't get any defensive support. Andujar Cedeno can see to go right through his legs off the bat of Marquise Grissom. Mike Lansing continues his hot start. He scores, as does Ted Wood. They got another on a sac fly. They're up 5-4. Back to you.
All right, Gary, thank you. Ben McDonald and Joaquin Gonzalez to lead off the second inning, and now they'll face Julio Franco, batting champ a couple of years ago. Injured and played only 35 games last year. Won the 91 batting championship in the American League, hitting .341. Lifetime .301 hitter. And really wanted to play second base, but late in the spring he understood that his role was now to be DH, and if he's happy about it, that can only help the Rangers.
Well, patellar tendonitis in the knee knocked him out last year, and he now has it in the other knee. So his best position is bat anyway. I know Julio, a competitor, likes to play, but fielding has always been a little bit of a liability for him, but not with that stick in his hands.
McDonald misses with that one. It's 1-1. I mean, you talk about the hometown of Vega Baja, Puerto Rico. Not only Gonzalez on first base, but the on-deck hitter, Ivan Rodriguez, but the hometown of the man at the plate, Julio Franco. San Pedro de Macorís. Few ball players come out of there, you think?
Whoa. The city only has about 50,000 people.
They all play shortstop or second base.
All except Pedro Guerrero.
All hit deep to right field. Back goes Cito Martinez back, and he makes the catch on the line. It's a fair ball. The ball hung up there for Martinez, who peeled over nicely, made the play, and Gonzalez back to first.
Catcher, Rodriguez.
Well, Julio has excellent power the other way. Fans thought he got enough of it. Breeze blowing out, but this seemed to hang up a little bit, and Cheeto got it in fair territory. Rangers talk about Julio Franco and the 6 amigos, 6 Latin American players in the lineup tonight. Here's one of them, Pudge Rodriguez. The youngest, Benji Gill, the shortstop, was born in Mexico, grew up in the San Diego area, but played a lot of semi-pro ball in Mexico. Palmero and Canseco from Cuba, 2 from Puerto Rico, the Dominican, and Mexico. So they've got the bases covered.
Ivan Rodriguez, who born November 30th, 1971. An all-star last year, and of course, and we thought you would like to know this. Before Rodriguez was born, the man is throwing to him tonight, Nolan Ryan, already had 493 strikeouts. Benji Gill, of whom you spoke, was born in 1972. Ryan had 50 wins and 822 strikeouts before Benji Gill was born.
Well, a 46-year-old man pitching to a 21-year-old catcher. One of them is certainly headed for the Hall of Fame, and if this youngster plays like he showed when he first came up in 1991, he's got a Hall of Fame future in front of him. Last year, a little bit disappointing. He had some good numbers, but some people thought some of the fame went to his head early, but they say he's got a better work ethic this year.
Gold Glove, third youngest. Only Ken Hubbs, Johnny Bench.
Griffey Jr. got one at age 22, but of course Ivan just 21. Got one last year at 20.
Fouls that one back. Count is 2-1. Our Sunday night baseball is underway. Good game we had last Sunday with John and Joe from St. Louis. Pittsburgh Pirates at the Los Angeles Dodgers. That's Sunday at 8 Eastern, 5 if you're joining us in the Hotel California for Dodger Stadium. The Pirates up to a pretty good start, despite the fact that if you look at their roster, you don't recognize a lot of the names except for a guy like Andy Van Slyke. But this just in, Jim Leland knows what he's doing.
Well, 2 of those young guys, Garcia and Kevin Young, are hitting the ball early on. And a lot of people think Al Martin in left field will.
2-1 pitch foul back by Rodriguez, so the count is 2-2. 2-0. The Orioles lead on a 2-run single by Glenn Davis in the top of the first. You see the mist, rain coming down. Nolan
Ryan struggling in the first inning, walking 3, giving up 2 hits.
You know, Glenn Davis is a big man. But Juan Gonzalez, 6'3", worked on the weights this winter, comes in at a rock-solid 226. I'll tell you, this guy, he can generate some bat speed.
Good news, but you see a screamer like that going to the crowd, and I don't know, I get a little tight just watching it.
Good news about having those seats close is that you can see the players up close, but boy, when you're sitting down there, I mean, be aware at all times. You can see Fudge was Moss-tardy on that one.
Moss, indeed. Bottom of the second inning, and Fudge will step out. You think he had a storybook day in '91 when he was called up from Double-A to the major leagues? Got married in the morning in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Took the flight, went to Chicago, played at Comiskey, threw out a runner, got a hit. All in a day's work.
And at age 19.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just in stride.
He said, well, now that I'm married, I got to take responsibility.
Yeah. As if getting, be a man. Yeah, as if getting married at 19 isn't scary enough. Playing your first major league game. And he figured if I'm going to be uptight, I might as well do it all in one day. And he was not uptight. Count is 3-2, 1 out. Gonzalez at first base. 2-0 Orioles, bottom of the second inning.
Gonzalez probably will run. That's
there he is.
Kennedy's pattern. That's
and it's going to nail him. Right to Reynolds, over to Davis. You called it, but it was not the way that Kevin Kennedy designed it. We played 2 here at wet Arlington Stadium. 2-0 O's.
Deborah Lacayo doesn't have time to watch A&E. She spent 10 years carving tiny people on the tips of toothpicks. She paints with a dog whisker. Hey, if you've got the time, A&E's got new episodes of Time Machine, Lovejoy Mysteries, The Real West Series, and American Justice. All this week. A&E, it's time well spent.
Genuine Draft.
I was hoping you'd say that.
Cold filtered Miller Genuine Draft. For those who've discovered its smooth draft taste, the world is a very cool place.
Baseball, baseball, the fever now. Baseball, baseball. Let me show you how. Hardball, the connection. Dirt slide in, change your direction. Smoke 'em, bake 'em. Dominate by shit intimidation. Throw heat, play the window, pastime of the nation. Baseball, baseball. Catch the fever now. Baseball, baseball. Let me show you how. Check it out. Catch the fever. Everybody catch the fever.
A message from Major League Baseball.
A new feature for us on Wednesday Night Baseball, Deals and Steals. Leroy Stanton, Don Rose, and Francisco Estrada for Jim Fregosi. Not a bad trade for the Mets. Well, maybe it was. On December 10th, 1971, Nolan Ryan went over to California, immediately won 19 games. Led the American League with 329 strikeouts. Soon would become a 20-game winner, a no-hit pitcher, and, well, a Hall of Famer. And here he is tonight for the Texas Rangers. Don Rose, Leroy Stanton, Francisco Estrada, which is more like Chico Escuela, I guess, and Nolan Ryan for Jim Fregosi. Jim Fregosi, obviously a very good player. And no one really knew yet what Ryan was capable of, although the old Mets, like Tom Seaver and company, said, well, we all thought we had pretty good fastballs, and we saw this kid from Alvin, Texas throw his.
Yeah, that might have been one of the worst trades in history. I think there's one worse. 1900, the New York Giants
I knew it was the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants traded a guy named Amos Russi to Cincinnati for a young guy by the name of Christy Mathewson. Russi never won a game, and Mathewson won 373. That might have been the worst one ever.
Well, the Giants made a good trade then, but they have a history in more recent times. In the late Horace Stoneham regime, those are the worst in plural of trades made. Yeah, don't get me started, please.
Yeah, one of the San Francisco writers once wrote that whenever a general manager gets a call from the San Francisco Giants, he has to put the pillowcase over his mouth to keep from laughing.
Back then it was true. Not anymore, but back then it certainly was true. Glenn Davis, two-run single in the first inning. That's why the Orioles lead it 2-0 on a chilly and wet night here in Arlington, and Davis calls for time for a moment. Nolan Ryan bounces that one a little bit. Count is 1-1. Well, every start that Nolan makes this year, it's going to bring out the fans, and we're glad you could join us tonight here on ESPN. Chris Berman along with Dave Campbell, and anytime he pitches, you know you're looking at a little bit of history. Every strikeout becomes the new number, of which I know they say records are made to be broken, but going to be tough to catch his strikeout figure when he's done.
Well, no surprise, but Nolan Ryan averaged putting 6,018 more fannies in the seats last year. That was more than any other pitcher in baseball, but of course a lot of that was right here in Arlington when he pitched at home.
7 no-hitters for Nolan, of course. The next most, Sandy Koufax with 4. Oh, by the way, 12 one-hitters, tied with Bob Feller for the best in all-time history. Of course, his 9.59 strikeouts per 9 innings. We're talking about a 46-year-old. We're talking about numbers that run for 27 years to average over a strikeout an inning for a career like this.
Well, Chris, we could sit here and play, can we top this all night long? But the most impressive number to me, maybe not to those fans out there, but he struck out 10 or more batters 215 times. The next closest, Sandy Koufax, 98 times.
Benji Gill, the young shortstop, over to Palmero, and Davis is gone, and never gone is Gary Miller.
Chris, we're back at Olympic Stadium where Mike Gardner's in there trying to hold on to the lead. But at 5-4, Ken Caminiti gets the Astros back in it. He singles in Jeff Bagwell to tie it at 5. Eric Anthony's just been thrown out at home, so it's still 5-all, top of the 7th for the Astros batting. Back to you.
All right, Gary, the Astros, this funky bunch. Boy, it could be an exciting season for baseball here in the Lone Star State. No question about that.
Chris, it's going to ebb and flow, and Kevin Kennedy, one of the things Kennedy did when he came in here is he met individually with every player and said, all right, what do you think went wrong last year? And after the players had a chance to express themselves, then he said, what can we do as a team to turn this around? What can we do as a staff? And he let each player express themselves. And one of the things that happened last year is there really seemed to be a lot of apathy. You mentioned the Rangers can score runs. They scored the fewest runs in the American League the second half last year as they just got really out of sync as a team.
Chris Hoyles, pop fly behind second. And Billy Ripken makes a nice backpedaling play, and there's 2 down.
But Kennedy brought in Mickey Hatcher, who's just kind of an enthusiastic type guy.
As is Billy Ripken.
Absolutely. Blood and guts, a little fire and brimstone. Billy, you didn't get that one too secure. He looks in to make sure it's there.
Good shot, guys.
Wynn's playing a little tricks up there. There's the changeup. That ball diving down and away. I just found out on the changeup from Ryan during the strike of 1981. He happened to run into Joe Nuxall, broadcaster for the Cincinnati Reds. Don't hit this pitch, Cheeto. Thank you. I wanted to finish the story. I had having breakfast with Nuxall, and he said, you know, I want to come up with a changeup. And Nuxall said, why don't you talk to Mario Soto? And Mario Soto and Ryan got together during that strike in 1981, that 50-day strike, and Mario Soto taught him the circle change. Ryan was pitching with Houston then, so Nolan even made good use of the time that he was off in 1981. And he does have a good changeup.
2-1 to Cheeto Martinez. 2-0 Orioles. Top of the 3rd. Ryan looking for perhaps a 1-2-3 inning, something he certainly did not get in the lengthy 1st and 2nd inning.
Yeah, it was nice of Cheeto not to make the 3rd out.
No, but we
don't like him to interrupt our stories.
Okay, this is full national. They get it right down at the plate.
That's right. Okay. Cheeto's got the earpiece in.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
with the mini dish. Count is 3-2 to Tito Martinez.
Nolan bidding, obviously, for his first 1-2-3 inning, but has gone to his fourth full count, and the sixth time he's had a 3-ball count on a hitter, so he's had to work tonight.
Full count on the way. Ground ball that, well, you hold your breath the way Rafael Palmeiro's been playing first thus far tonight, but no lights in the bag, and he could get that one. And we head to the bottom of the third inning. It's 2-0 Baltimore.
Take a close look at a Kelly Springfield tire. Beneath every computer-designed tread, every perfectly aligned belt, every smooth riding body, and time-tested lining lies the first rubber tire that actually stayed on the wheel. From Kelly Springfield, America's oldest tire company.
The new four-wheel drive 175 horsepower Isuzu Rodeo. It's the vehicle some of you have been waiting for a long time. The Isuzu Rodeo, practically amazing.
Thanks to Smart Rate from the Discover card, interest charges now have a whole new bottom line. Smart Rate, currently as low as 14.9%. It pays to Discover.
Another update from Montreal. As we were speaking last, Ken Caminetti was scoring on a wild pitch. Then Andújar Cedeno with the grievous error, but he makes up for it. The single to center up and gunning on the fly is Marquise Grissom, but Scott Service just got his arm in under the tag after the comeback to take a 7-5 lead in the seventh.
All right, Gary, and you're looking at the president here, the Texas Rangers, George W. Bush. And he's liked, not thus far tonight what he's seen, but he's loved the start that the Texas Rangers have had. A new attitude. And he says, you know, our goal here is to maybe just for a little bit in September get high school football off the front page of the sports section and maybe have them talk Texas Ranger baseball. Maybe.
Well, they've been here since 1972, and as they always say around here, they've never had a meaningful game in September. Only Seattle and Cleveland with Texas have not won a division title since they went to division play in 1969.
Doug Strange, Billy Ripken, Benji Gill. Not exactly Canseco, Gonzalez, and Franco, but yet this is 7-8-9 as Strange gets the nod tonight for Dean Palmer. As Dave told you, flunked yesterday by Fernando, day-to-day on the elbow. So Doug Strange, who hit a 2-run home run in the second game of the season off Greg Olson. A Greg Olson curveball hit it out of the yard. Broke up a 1-1 tie in the ninth inning, and the Rangers won the second game of the year at Baltimore 3-1. So it's not only the big guns that have delivered the home run. Strange is a home run, and Reed is a homer last night. Here's Fernando, who really Davey Lopes. But Fernando really struggled last night. And you were here, Dave. I guess it was everyone's really rooting for Fernando. It was tough to watch. He had no feel at all, did he?
He really didn't, although talking to a number of scouts tonight, they were very impressed with Fernando's velocity, but he had only pitched once since spring training, and that was a one-inning stint, and he just really had no location last night. Had a good first inning, 1, 2, 3, and then the roof kind of caved in on him.
Down low from Ben McDonald. The count is 2-2, so certainly is thus far tonight a much better outing for Ben McDonald, who was gone in an inning and a third after 7 walks. Is the first time out. As David started to tell you about Ben McDonald, the Golden Spikes Award winner, the highest-rated pitcher ever to come out. Was that 1989? Shot by Strange to left field. And the fielder falls down, and this is going to be extra bases. Brady Anderson scuffling out there with the wet turf. And this time it's the Rangers that get the break. So Strange, who struggled himself at third base and got Nolan Ryan in a little trouble, and a ball that he could have ironically thrown Brady Anderson out at second base, now gets Anderson to return the favor.
And the logical conclusion is it's going to be a strange evening.
That's right. Strange brew.
Brady just couldn't get the wheels underneath him. You can obviously see he does have spikes on. It's not a case of having rubber sole shoes, but he's just treading water out there. I kind of chuckle, but I know it's no fun. And Brady is a terrific outfielder. Right. He just was slipping, sliding, and it's definitely damp in the outfield here.
There's no question that tonight is a strange brew. Sorry.
It is a strange evening. Of course, it's always strange when I work with you.
Well, yes, that's right. Well, you know what they do say, that the Doors did sing that people come out in the rain when it's strange. When you're strange, excuse me. All right, we'll stop singing long enough to tell you that Billy Ripken is up with now Doug Strange at second base and none out. The Rangers trail at 2-0. And Hewlett in on the grass at third base. Ripken squared the bunt, pulled it back. Pitch for a ball.
You can see Hewlett in. Billy, of course, has led the American League in sacrifices a couple of times. His job is to find a way to get Strange to third base. That's one thing the Rangers have really tried to do this spring, is emphasize some of the fundamental things. They've always been noted for the long ball, but Billy Ripken is trying to teach him, along with Kevin Kennedy and his staff, how to play baseball. Play the little ball.
There's a bunt that'll roll foul, and Hewlett quickly grabs it in foul ground. Of course, the Orioles know full well what Billy is capable of doing.
Starts out foul, stays foul. So, honest job by the groundskeepers. The grass is cut awfully near the foul line. A lot of times there's more dirt area. The grass is right cozy up to the foul line. So if it rolls off the grass, folks, it's definitely going to go foul.
Yep.
Slanting. Let's see, with the Rangers being a power hitting team, you think maybe that's tailored that way by the home team? Take away some of the bunting and speed of other teams?
I don't think they would ever think of doing that. There's no home park that's ever tailor-made their field to them.
In 1962, the Giants voted their groundskeeper a full share because he somehow was able to, in the playoffs, create a quagmire at first base for Maury Wills.
Yes, Maury Wills stole
Willie Davis, yeah. And he got a full share. But, of course, Bill Veeck used to move the fences in and out, depending on who was coming into town, until they stopped that practice.
Count is 2-1 to Billy Ripken. Pulls that one away as the fastball is up and in at 3-1. Of course, in the Astrodome for a while, they used to turn on the air conditioner out in center field, and when the opponents were up, and they figured it was, about a 4 or 5 mile an hour breeze coming in from center, when the Astros came up, they turned it off for a while.
When you go to war, you got to take all your weapons.
Even some that the other guy doesn't know that he have. 3-1 the count to Billy Ripken. Pitch, was thinking about bunting, pulled it back, and now will he be honest, or will he risk the two-strike bunt?
No, he's not going to bunt here. He'll try to hit the ball to the right side, though. Billy has the inside-out stroke when he wants to, kind of a natural stroke. So his job, he wants to hit the ball to the right side, advance the runner, and if he finds a hole, it's a bonus. Probably easier said than done against Ben McDonald. He's not a real comfortable guy, looking at 6'7", kind of arms and legs coming at you.
3-2 pitch. Rip grounds it to brother Cal. Cal over to first to throw out brother Bill. That the base runner does move on to third base. Doug Strange. And as we ease closer to the Stanley Cup playoffs starting next week, the Minnesota North Stars, well, before they become the Dallas Lone Stars, they still have a chance to eke into the playoffs. They'll be at Detroit tomorrow night against the Red Wings. 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 on the West Coast. The Minnesota North Stars coming down here to play hockey in that noted hotbed of hockey, Dallas, Texas.
You bet. Good base running by Doug Strange. A lot of times when that ball's hit in front of you, you're hesitant about going to third, but he heard the sound of the bat. He knew Billy got sawed off, and it was going to be a slow roller, so he moved to third. And here's the youngster, Benji Gill. Played a nice shortstop, taking over for Manny Lee, but has struggled at the plate.
Benji Gill just 1 of 21. And they took a hit away from him last night as a shot off Gomez's glove at third. And they gave Gomez an error. Hey, you're 1 for 21. I mean, come on. You're in your home park. Give him a break.
Give the kid a break. Played at Gastonia last year. Hit 274. And the ranges are very high on him for the future. When Lee's back, he probably will go out to the minor leagues, although because they have such a shortage of middle infielders, they're weighing that decision right now.
And McDonald is inside 1-1.
McDonald 13-13 last year, 4.24 ERA. Tried to add a couple of pitches to the repertoire. He's been working with Dick Bosman, the pitching coach.
Hit by Gill for a second Major League base hit and an RBI. So Strange scores. Gill with a huge turn. And 20-year-old Benji Gill. Wow, you think they'd won the World Series here. It's 2-1.
Well, the fans have really taken a liking to this kid because he's a gritty little competitor. He gets a ball up in the zone, doesn't hit it all that well, but he hits it in a good spot. Cal's got no shot at it. And the youngster picks a great time for Ranger fans to get his second base hit. So a misplay by Brady Anderson cost a run, so all the runs that have scored tonight have been a result of defensive lapses, in part caused by kind of a muddy track.
His first Major League RBI. It's always a good feeling. So Gill on. And David Holtz, the leadoff batter, is up. Grounded to short his first time up. Hewlett way in on the grass. Holtz was not offering the bunt that time. Took the pitch outside for a ball. Then Palmero, Canseco, Gonzalez, and Franco, some names which you may be more familiar with.
Benji's wearing number 22. He wanted number 8 because his hero is standing right there, Cal Ripken. He's the guy that Benji wants to pattern his game after. He said Ripken's highly intelligent, knows how to play hitters. And Benji Gill, just 20 years old, but very advanced because he's played a lot of semi-pro baseball down in Mexico over the years.
Both pulling the bunt attempt back. 1-1. 2-1 ball game now here in the bottom of the third inning. Nolan Ryan against Ben McDonald. This is McDonald's inning to struggle, courtesy of the wet track out in left field.
Also Texas kid. He's out of San Angelo.
Count is 2-1.
Let's see if maybe Kennedy goes to the running game here. That's one thing Kevin said he was going to do. He's going to get a lot more aggressive on the bases. They haven't been very successful early. They've had 6 out of 9 guys thrown out, but he says he wants to start pressuring the catchers, the middle infielders, the pitchers. We want to be known as a running team.
Bluff's going. Holtz swinging late. Fouls it back. The count is 2-2. And Mickey Hatcher, the first base coach, another word with Benji Gill.
Kennedy had some interesting quotes. He says when you run, he said it jump starts a team's heart. He said a home run will lull you to sleep, but the running game raises the team to a full-throated frenzy. They haven't run well early, but he's the type of guy that just isn't going to sit back and wait for the 3-run homers. He said that's what Texas has done in the past, and we're going to try to put some pressure on the opposition.
Well, certainly at this part of the order, 8-9-1, Ripken, Gill, and Holtz. I mean, that's certainly the part where you run. Keeping an eye on third base coach for some signs. Dave giving the sign up. What sign is that? It's cold when you blow on the hands.
Yeah, you can usually tell by the coaches wearing the rubberized jackets under the uniform, the windbreakers.
Here goes Gill. Throw by Hoyles. Nail. Now, we told you Hoyles doing a little better this year than last year, and got a good pitch to work with, that's for sure, and he gunned Gill down.
Larry, 7 out of 12 after throwing at 15% last year, but any catcher will tell you if your pitcher gives you half a shot, they're going to throw some people out. Benji has a decent jump, but Ben doesn't take the high leg kick, and that really is the difference there. Great throw, and all Cal's got to do is put the tag on the hand. Look at Cal out in front of the bag. Well, that's really an art that people don't talk about too much, putting a tag on. Cal in front of the bag, blocking it off.
McDonald may have to face the same thing as he walks Holtz. You know, toughest thing for a catcher to do when Ben McDonald's on the mound. I mean, he's 6'7". You got to make sure you get the throw around him.
Tell him to duck. Yeah. Yeah, Hoyles conversing with McDonald right now. Rafael Palmeiro stepping in, and Chris, you alluded to the fact last year he struggled a little bit. He's always been the type of guy that sprayed the ball all over the line. He only had 22 hits to the opposite field last year. A lot of people thought he got a little pull happy because he had a successful year hitting home runs the year before. But that's been one of the problems he's had early this year. A lot of ground balls to second base, maybe pulling balls he ought to hit the other way.
With 2 outs, 1 run in for the Rangers. It's a 2-1 game, and that pitcher's way up top. Palmeiro, a .296 lifetime hitter, hit .322 here in '91, .319 here in 1990, and was .307 with the Cubs in '88. And now Ben McDonald up with the pitch count, Nolan Ryan. So, boy, complete games for these guys is going to be a long shot.
Well, Nolan, first 2 innings, he was on a pace for 225 pitches. At one time in his career, he might have been able to do that, but not anymore.
Nolan is inside the clubhouse. There's his strike to Palmeiro, keeping warm, not even on the bench.
You know, that year you were talking about with Palmeiro in '91, he also had 49 doubles, but he was spraying the ball down the left field line, up the alleys in left center and right center. Got away from that last year. He said he started getting out on his front side too much.
McDonald looks in. An all-SEC matchup here. McDonald, LSU. Palmeiro, Mississippi State. Ball players at Mississippi State. Some guy named Clark. Some guy named Thigpen. Jeff Brantley. Rafael Palmeiro. Pretty good squads. Fooled him on that one. 1-2.
Palmeiro struggled in spring training, out 2.5 weeks with tonsillitis. His tonsils removed, kind of right through it. Got a nice looking swing. Might have pulled off that one just a tad.
1-2 pitch. Up top, 2-2. Davis, 2-run single in the first inning for the Orioles. Benji Gill with his first Major League RBI here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Nolan Ryan has not been vintage tonight, although the last inning settled down after 2 rough ones and retired the side 1-2-3. Palmeiro, strike 3. Couldn't hold it up, and he's gone. So McDonald gets out of there, but not until the Rangers put across their first run of the evening. We played 3-2-1 Baltimore.
Rangers team up once again.
Are you ready for Michigan's Northern exposure? Come on over to Gilbert's Lodge for pizza, burgers, Mexican specialties, and fantastic drink specials. Don't miss any of your favorite TV sports action. At Gilbert's, every seat is a great seat. Gilbert's Trophy Room is ideal for all your party needs, showers, christening, or any special occasion. Bring the whole family in on Sundays to enjoy the Lumberjack Brunch from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Gilbert's Lodge, located on Harper between 8 and 9 Mile Roads in rustic St. Clair Shores.
I'm
I'm Roberta Jacina.
And I'm Joe Donovan.
WWJ News Radio 95 is the only Detroit radio station that's all news, all the time.
Anytime you need to know, you can get an instant report on traffic and weather.
In fact, only WWJ has traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 8th.
Plus, tune in anytime for a quick update on the latest news around the clock.
See, it's easy to use. All news.
WWJ, News Radio 95.
Exactly.
With its luxurious leather-trimmed interior, the Acura Legend sedan is a remarkably pleasant place to be. It also features a 200-horsepower engine, in case you really want to get away. The 1993 Acura Legend sedan. Lease a Legend L for just $399 a month. See your Acura dealer for details.
Else to consider about Nolan Ryan, 15 strikeout games. It's only happened 10 times by a pitcher over 30. Nolan Ryan's got all but one of them as we go back to his new home.
It really is, Gary and Dave, a can you top this with Nolan Ryan? You're right, we could do this, and we will have a lot of time tonight. We're at that pace, aren't we?
Yes, we are. Ryan, at age 44, struck out 16. Rube Waddell, at age 32, was the only other man over 30 to strike out 16 batters. He is just, I mean, it is an absolute phenomenon what this man has accomplished in his career. You know what I was thinking of today? Tom Seaver received the highest vote total going into the Hall of Fame at 99%. Who's not going to vote for this guy? I dare some writer not to vote for this guy in the first ballot. Maybe somebody will say, well, you know, the guy's only 33 games over 500. Oh, I'm sorry. Well, this guy isn't a first ballot Hall of Famer on every ballot, then I think some writer ought to have his head examined.
Well, 24 writers did not vote for Willie Mays when he was eligible.
Well, I agree. I mean, there's never been a unanimous selection.
Nolan Ryan begins the fourth inning. Hewlett, Reynolds, and Brady Anderson, 8-9-1 in the Oriole lineup. 2-1 Baltimore. Glad you could join us. And Hewlett fouls that one off. With Nolan Ryan, we continue to play the Can You Top This? You pointed out that it's already 1,500 more strikeouts than number 2 on the list, Steve Carlton. And remember, remember once upon a time, I mean, it was nip and tuck. Who was going to get to Walter Johnson's mark of 3,508 first? That seems like a long time ago now. It was who will have more by the time they retire, and no one has left everybody in the dust. I find it fitting, Dave, that... Well, of course, it's a different one. I started to say something, and I caught myself. It's not the same senator as Walter Johnson's senator.
That's very true. That was an expansion team. This one was, anyway.
Yes, that was the Minnesota Twins. I started to make a correlation there, but he put on the brakes. And thought he had that one. Thought he dropped that one in on the corner. But Davey Phillips behind the plate said no, and the count is 1-2.
I think he fooled Davey Phillips. Let's see where this curveball. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Good call by Davey. That ball stayed inside when it went past the plate. Gotta try to remind the fans now and then, it's not where the catcher catches it. It's where it passes the plate that the umpire is supposed to judge the pitch.
Pitch. That one's bounced. Nolan Ryan, as we look at most seasons played in all the professional sports, is Nolan's 27th. Gordie Howe, the ageless wonder. Red Wings, and then on to the Houston Aeros and the Hartford Whalers. 32 seasons. George Blanda, Hall of Famer for the, ended up with the Raiders. And Kareem with 20 years. No one's played 27 years in baseball except this man on the mound.
Those obviously the major sports. We didn't count motor racing or bowling. We'd probably find some guys.
Bowling, we got some guys.
Yeah. Motor car racing.
Or jockeys, certainly.
Yeah.
Right?
Probably.
Hewlett down the right field line. This one's going to curve away from Jose Canseco and going to get caught in the mud out there. And Hewlett into second base with a double. So really a good job by Hewlett. Was down and looked like at one point he was going to be struck out. Hung in there, fouled off a couple of pitches, and gets the opposite field double.
Tim had a big hit in the Orioles' only win in Seattle on Saturday, so that's maybe one of the reasons that Johnny Oates gave him a nod to try to jumpstart this offense. I thought he had a chance for 3. Canseco gingerly going after this when the ball just kind of dying. I thought Hewlett right about now was already at second base. I certainly thought he had a shot at third, but I guess the old axiom, you don't make the first out at third base, must have cropped through his mind, so he didn't take a chance. He was worried about blowing a tire coming around second. And that mud out there, too.
Jose looked like he was adjusting the mud cocks going down to get the ball. That was talking about horse racing down the right field line. Harold Reynolds up, and certainly the corners are in. Strange in at third, Palmeiro in at first.
We'll see if Reynolds tries to bring a bunt up the right side. Nolan, a tough guy to pull when you're batting left-handed.
Ryan doesn't look at third, goes right to first. Safe, and they say that Palmeiro is off the bag, and he's going to argue it. Is he called timeout? I guess so, and here comes Kennedy to argue with Mike Riley at first.
Now, Raphael definitely thought he was on the bag as he came off to get that throw, and Kevin Kennedy is going to have a say with Mike Riley. That'll be scored a sacrifice and an error. We'll take a second look.
Here it is.
Reynolds going to make Ryan field it, who's obviously got some lace problems. Nolan might have hurried this just a little bit. I do think you missed one, pal. Pretty conclusive. Sometimes, and I agree with the umpires, we don't have the perfect angles, but in a case like that where the man is dragging his foot across the top of the base clearly, they aren't going to get 100% of them right, and in that case they did not.
Now Ryan is in trouble with runners on the corners, and Brady Anderson up. Rodriguez blocks the ball, nobody going anywhere. This goes the ball. Anderson walked, scored a run in the first inning, singled in the second inning, so his average up to a lofty .419. Here's Pudge behind the plate.
Rodriguez pounces on it.
It sounds funny calling another catcher Pudge. For those of us that grew up in New England, of course, Carlton Fisk was in the Major League 2 years before Pudge Rodriguez was born.
Yeah, the kid's a little fudgy, but I will say one thing. He was really getting big last year. He took off about 10 pounds. He was getting real big towards the end of 1992, and I think it affected his mobility somewhat. You know, at age 21 with a bit of a weight problem, it's something he's going to have to watch throughout his career.
Anderson fouls it back. It's 1-1. Top of the fourth inning, a double by that man, Tim Hewlett, and he's on third base now. Sacrificing the error to the pitcher, Nolan Ryan, although Rafael Palmeiro feels and it'll look like he may have scraped that foot on the bag. But at this point, Ryan will have to work out of it. 1-1 pitch. Anderson swings and misses. Strike two.
Rangers playing a double play depth. They'll trade a run to try to get the double play and stem the tide of the inning here. You see Ripken and Gill back. Ball's hit to Palmeiro or to third base to Strange. They have the option of coming home if they want to.
That bounce gets by Rodriguez. And the run scores. Hewlett in from third base. It's 3-1. And Reynolds scoots down to second.
Yeah, that really hurt Nolan. He was trying for the strikeout. Looked like a changeup or a curveball. We're not sure. It was definitely an off-speed pitch. Just slipped off his fingers. Curveball, and Rodriguez expecting it to bounce back a little bit. This one he smothers, but it caroms off his chest. You see him get down and try to block it, but it kind of played off the left side of his body. And that really kicked it away about 35 to 40 feet. That allowed Hewlett to score. So that curveball of Ryan's didn't work.
Pitch ripped foul now twice on Hewlett when Ryan was 0-2. Thought he punched him out on the curveball. Then this one, he was going for the strikeout here, so he's obviously not making the pitches that Nolan Ryan often makes.
Yeah, he probably is throwing maybe 3 to 4 good curveballs tonight. Fastball's been his best pitch. He is throwing maybe 4 to 5 changeups, so he's had more confidence in the fastball than anything else.
2-2 the count to Brady Anderson. Here's the strikeout. Only his third strikeout of the night, the first since the first inning. Anderson will sit down.
No fair when you throw 93 and paint the outside corner at the knees, but this is a perfect pitcher's pitch from Ryan. Brady Anderson trying to pull a ball to the right side of the diamond. Can't do anything with this heater. I mean, it's tailing down and away. It is a strike. Probably did the best thing possible, is take it and hope maybe it was called a ball. Man, that old goat make that kind of a pitch in that situation.
Making it to him. Making it to everybody. And here's the first pitch to Mike Devereaux. Ball one, low and outside. Devereaux and Anderson were aboard when Glenn Davis punched a single between short and third in the first inning. That's the first 2 Oriole runs scored, and the third one they just picked up on a wild pitch. Benji Gill RBI single bottom of the third, and that's where we stand. 3-1 Baltimore. Popped up behind the plate. Does Rodriguez have room? Almost. He goes head first into the front row of seats. That's why you wear chest protectors, huh? To prevent yourself from hurting yourself on the rail?
Yeah, he was out of the lineup a couple of days ago with a bad back. He had the stress fracture a year ago, and sometimes when you get your body out of balance here, going over the railing, you got to worry about that back. He's braced himself pretty well, but arching the back could put a little strain on there.
To the one fan, the hat was, you got to turn your hat upside down if you expect to catch it in there.
Absolutely.
Boy. It's been raining ever since the start of the game. Not the same amount. I mean, I don't really think we have a danger of rolling out the tarps if it stays and rains like this tonight, but we may have some more interesting plays ahead of us as Gill tries to sneak in behind Reynolds at second base.
Good play by Ryan there. Sometimes pitchers don't do that. When your shortstop cuts in behind like that and you're not going to do a pickoff throw, back off the rubber because that shortstop's going to be caught out of position. Sometimes a pitcher just kind of goes brain dead and they throw it to the plate and you've got a wide open hole on the left side of the infield.
Ground ball. That's wide of third base. Boy, it's interesting to see down at third base, Mike Ferraro. The fact that anyone is at third base for the Baltimore Orioles other than Cal Ripken Sr. is big news. I mean, only Cal Sr. and then when Cal was manager, John Hart, only 2 guys have been third base coach for the Orioles since '77. Now Ferraro was the third.
Of course, Mike, at one time the third base coach of the Yankees until he made a move that George didn't agree with.
Playoffs.
Anyway, we just saw Devereaux walking all the way back to the dugout to get his bat. I had read just today that one of the new dictums out of the American League office and the National League was in order to speed up the game, the bat boy in the on-deck circle should have another one of the hitter's bats just in case he breaks one to speed up the game a little bit. Obviously, they didn't that time. Devereaux walked all the way back in, looked at the bat rack for a while, and selected it.
Selected the right one. There's a base hit to right. Canseco coming up throwing. No, he won't. Reynolds going to score untested, and it's 4-1. So the good lumber pick by Mike Devereaux took the long look and rifled the base hit over the head of Billy Ripken.
Shortstop Cal
Devereaux went down and hit obviously a pretty good breaking ball down and away and hit it like he knew it was coming. Kind of surprised we haven't seen activity in the Ranger bullpen yet. So far, nothing, as the Orioles have gone out to a 4-1 lead, and Devereaux certainly continues to drive in key runs.
So this has not been Nolan Ryan's night thus far. Now he has to deal with Cal Ripken, 1 for 2 tonight, singled in the second inning. Strike. Ripken looking away. Probably so used to looking at his dad down in the third base coaching box. He probably for the first week or two of the season double takes when he sees Ferraro down there. No, he did not go around, says Mike Riley. We're really enjoying himself, the Ranger fans tonight, although that one was right there.
Well, I don't think Cal would.
No.
But yeah, I've seen some umpires call that. I would say no, but I've seen some guys call it for less, especially on a night like this, and I'm sure the umpires would like to get out of here, too. Yeah, so much for speeding up the game, folks. We're working on 3.5 innings in an hour and 35, 40 minutes.
Devereaux off and running. Ripken swinging with it and fouls it. Had a play on the right side. Doubleheader on Friday. You get the early tip, David. You'll see these Texas Rangers as they go into the stadium to play the contending New York Yankees. Gonzalez, Mattingly, and all the gang. That's the early game at 7:30 Eastern Time. And the second half of our double dip, the St. Louis Cardinals, Ozzie and company, and the San Diego Padres. So 7:30, 10:30, double dip of baseball. Our Fridays continue. We bring you 6 games a week for our 4th season here on ESPN. You want to know anything that happens in baseball tonight and all the games? We've got it for you. We don't just show up and do some things in the postseason. We're here every day of the week for you. 1-2 pitch on the way to Ripken. There's a fastball missed inside. 2-2.
Well, Chris, they can talk all they want about speeding up games and the strike zone and this getting on and off the field and television commercials. It all begins and ends with the pitchers. I mean, there's been a lot of games that have played 210, 215, 220, 225 this year. It's when the pitcher gets the ball, throws strikes, gets the team in and off the field. Nolan's never been a guy that's going to work a quick game. He always goes deep in counts. That's not his style.
Misses inside with a fastball, and the string is full at 3-2.
Nolan certainly trying to eat up Cal on the hands. The ball's obviously inside. Fans like to put the blue uniform on and the mask, but so far, Dave Phillips hasn't called a real bad game.
Sailed that toss over to Palmeiro to keep an eye on Devereaux. Ball almost sliced away from Palmeiro there, Dave.
Quiet, I'm taking a bite of pizza. Are you going to say something?
I wasn't going to point that out. Here goes the base runner and fly ball to center field. Holtz looking up into the raindrops, makes the play, and Devereaux is back to first. The secret is safe with me.
I know, but you were looking at me, and I was going, I'm trying to swallow this.
Even the pizza's chilly tonight, isn't it?
It is. Cal's still struggling a little, but he had a 4-hit game on Saturday in Seattle, but then drew a big offer coming in tonight, although he did get a gift wrap hit on that ball, that bouncer that Palmeiro lost in the lights.
Baines punches it past the diving Billy Ripken. Devereaux around second base easily into third. And so Harold Baines reaches out at the first pitch and punches it into right field. And the Orioles again with runners on the corners.
A lot of hits off Ryan haven't exactly been rockets tonight. Glenn Davis's 2 RBI single found a perfect hole between third and short. This one perfectly between first and second. And Billy gave it a good shot, but didn't come close. No, Billy, you got to attaboy. Turn it around.
Brian Bohannon, the left-hander, is now up in the Texas bullpen. You mentioned, Dave, I mean, not exactly rockets, but 7 hits. Could be a lot worse on the scoreboard. Ryan stranded 3 in the first and 2 in the second. Now he's trying to do the same here. Trying to strand the 2. Glenn Davis made him pay in the first inning, and that time Davis didn't catch up to that strike. Davis with a 2-run single in the first.
Chris, just looking down my score sheet and my notes, really the only ball that's been absolutely tattooed was that line drive by Devereaux, the base hit in this inning. Hewlett's ball was kind of a fly ball just in the right spot. A couple of infield hits, a couple of seeing eye hits. So Ryan hadn't exactly been tattooed, but he's also been behind in the count a lot, which allows the hitters to be a little more aggressive.
Fly ball to right field. Canseco going back, and we'll just watch it bounce off the wall. Here comes the throw, and the Rangers botch the relay. 2 runs are in, and Glenn Davis has made Nolan Ryan pay again. The Boo Birds are out for Jose. Admittedly, tough sledding out there. So the ball hung up for a long time. With 2 outs, everybody was flying, and Devereaux and Baines both scored, and suddenly it's 6-1 Baltimore.
Yeah, you could tell Jose was in big trouble right from the get-go. He was kind of taking a circuitous route on this one. And once the ball got up in that breeze, it started doing all kinds of tricks. You know right here he's not going to catch it. I mean, Jose is not Willie Mays. He's not going to catch it with his back to the infield. And besides that, Vic Wirtz didn't hit it.
And Ripken didn't even handle the relay. So finally, after a week of everything bouncing Texas's way and maybe not Baltimore's, for one night thus far, the worm has turned. And on a night when it's very wet, maybe that's the apropos statement.
Double, 2 RBIs, no error because the runner would have scored anyway, and Davis did not go to third. So Claude Osteen, the pitching coach, I believe that's, it's Claude. He's out talking to Nolan. See if he's buying a little time to get Bohannon ready, but Nolan apparently will finish the inning. But I would be pretty surprised to see him come out for the 5th, even if he gets out of the inning here.
4 runs home here for the Orioles in this 4th inning, and Glenn Davis, the guy that they've been waiting to get going, well, he's delivered tonight with 4 RBIs.
Yeah, and you think back to the call at first base. I mean, ifs and buts for candy and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas, but that call, there's 2 outs now. That would have been the 3rd out in the inning, so obviously Ryan would have done a little better. So the play by Strange in the 1st, and the key call at first base on the sacrifice by Reynolds. Been 2 big plays in this game.
With Nolan Ryan, and we asked him when he was coming up, a youngster, what were his goals in Major League Baseball?
I don't know that I really had any goals. I guess hopefully to make the big leagues, because coming out of Alvin, Texas, and going to rookie league, the big leagues were a long ways away. And then I think once I made it to the big leagues, I think my goal became to try to stay in the big leagues long enough to qualify for the pension, which was 4 years at the time.
Qualify for the pension, as you pointed out, at 46 years young, he could collect right now, right?
Yeah, he could. You can start collecting at 45. I always remember Greg Nettles in San Diego. He said his goal was, in his final at-bat in his big league career, to hit a home run, and as he crossed home plate, to have somebody hand him his first pension check.
Well, Ryan has attained that goal. That's unreal.
Somehow I don't think Miller's going to need the pension. But
he's earned it.
But he'll take it.
But he's earned it. Count is 1-2 to Chris Hoyles. 4 runs in here for the Orioles. And there's a strikeout. Hoyles will sit down, but the damage has been done. 4 runs home for the Orioles in the top of the 4th inning. They've busted open a 6-1 lead.
tension headaches this bad need a pain reliever this good. New Extra Strength Darnitol with Ease a Migraine.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
A twin blade from Bic?
What's in it for me?
I'm a big man. Big man.
This is new? A twin for normal skin and a twin for sensitive, right?
I'm a big man.
I'm a sensitive guy, right?
So I tried it.
Big man.
It's good.
It's great.
The new Bic Twin Select. Normal, sensitive. It really blew me away. It made a big man out of me.
I'm a big man. Big man. America's first Napa Auto Parts.
Welcome to Napa, America's most complete source for quality auto parts and accessories. And now get hot spring buys at Napa. Quality Napa motor oil, 99 cents a quart. Get 2 Silverline oil filters, just $4. Champion resistor spark plugs, 79 cents each after mail-in rebate. And Napa's lawn and garden battery, only $19.95. Save big on hot spring buys now at Napa, America's first choice.
Tomorrow night, a Norris Division showdown. Detroit Red Wings are vying for the first place position. Minnesota North Stars are trying to keep their playoff hopes alive. The Red Wings and North Stars live on ESPN National Hockey Night.
A moment ago, Nolan Ryan, as he's been doing the last couple of innings, into the clubhouse, but the question is, will that be the last we'll see of him as Brian Bohannon, the lefty, continues to get warm. Nolan is throwing, what, in the 90s for pitches? 97 pitches, so...
Well, the fact that, you know, he's limping, it's a rotten night, a chance to take an injury. I mean, there's really no more sense in leaving him out there. I don't think Bohannon's down there throwing for exercise, so I think we've seen the end of Nolan for the evening. No, don't turn off, folks.
No, don't do that. No, we don't know yet. We don't know yet.
Yeah, Nolan's done, but we still may have a game.
Well, he could still get the win if Canseco and Gonzalez and company come up and do some bashing here.
Yeah, but he's got to pitch 5 innings.
That's true. Well, if he has the lead, maybe he'll come back.
Yeah,
come on now.
Lazarus.
Come on now. He's not officially out of the game.
Good point.
It is just your conjecture, sir. Well, even though it was not a night that he will put up there with one of his best, fittingly, if that is the last that we've seen of him tonight, he ended it with a strikeout.
And he's up to, what do you get, 4 tonight?
Well, he is 4 tonight, which means that Ching, 5,677. Count is 1-1 to Jose Canseco. So Big Ben McDonald now working with the luxury of a 5-run lead. Here in the bottom of inning number 4. 8 hits for the Orioles. And chopper by Canseco. Hewlett over to Davis. And the Boober is out a little bit to Jose tonight after his tough evening in right field. And bounce out there, 2 infield groundouts.
Yeah, he's run for his last 15. And one of the interesting facts here is, I mean, Jose Canseco, more home runs than anybody else the last 6 years, 230, last 7 years. But Canseco, a lot of people say, hey, he may be only the 3rd best power hitter on this Ranger team with Gonzalez and Palmer. And I wonder, you know, Jose, who's always used to being the big dog, a lot of people are wondering how he might handle that.
Well, here is the major league leader in home runs, Juan Going Gonzalez. 5 homers, 2 of them on opening day Monday against the Orioles, 2 of them on Monday here against the Orioles. Pitcher against the power hitter, and yes, you'll see the curveball. Gonzalez on Monday hit one was a there you go. Why have the pizza when you can have some hot coffee, some good looking nachos in the rain?
It may get a little soggy.
Yeah.
Eat them a little faster.
The cheese will run a tad. Good pitch, and Gonzalez swings and misses. What I started to say was he hit one off of a fastball and one off either a slow curve or a change. 2 totally different sort of pitches. And then last night you said he had a double that was just had hair on it.
Yeah, it looked like a tracer from an anti-aircraft gun. And he hit the left field fence so fast that Brady Anderson hardly had time to turn around.
Count is 1-2 on Juan Gonzalez. And he swings and misses. Never swinging and missing is Gary Miller.
Chris Budweiser takes us to Skydome for a wild one. Rich DeLucia on in relief, no relief. Paul Molitor's first home run as a Blue Jay. That caps a 5-run 7th inning. They come from 9-3 down. It's 9-8. They're now batting again in the 8th inning. Back to you.
Lou may have smoke coming out of the ears again. That bullpen that was disastrous last year hadn't been too good lately either.
Now we're getting close to the time he'll bring in his compatriot at Cincinnati, and now in Seattle, North Charlton. As Julio Franco looks at strike one from Ben McDonald. Pitching very well here with this 5-run lead.
He really is, and that's, you know, we've been concentrating an awful lot on Nolan, and you have to concentrate on Nolan. But for the Orioles, a big outing because their pitching staff that was absolutely brilliant in spring training. We mentioned at the start, 12-2 in the spring with a 2.46 ERA for their big guys. And look at that curve. All of a sudden, Messina not quite as sharp. Sutcliffe has struggled. McDonald had the real shaky first start, but all of a sudden he's starting to give him a lift. And with Arthur Rhodes, and if they can get Fernando on track, this is still a very, very potent team. They just happen to have a rotten first week.
Grounder to the right side. McDonald. Well, that was not exactly the way you diagram it, but you got to like his heart. Made the play unassisted, twirled around, pirouetting, and tagging the bag the old-fashioned way with the glove. Good play, Ben. 6-1 Orioles.
This is it. Bottom of the ninth, tie score. 2-out, full count. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball. And Ventura connects. A hot liner up the middle. It's still rising. Johnson leaps, and it's off the wall. He's rounding second. The ball drops. McRae scoops it up and wings it toward Pendleton. Here's the play at the plate, and he's saved. It's unbelievable. And that's the game. Now here's the wrap-up. Blair, a game in every pack.
You know, I think we have a bug problem.
Us? Bugs? Nah.
Well, the Murphys next door had bugs.
They did?
Yeah, the bugs were taking over. They called Terminex.
Yeah, but I'm sure we don't have bugs.
Well, I think I'll call Terminex anyway.
Terminex can treat any pest problem properly and effectively. We're the nation's leader.
Have you seen the phone book?
Call us. Nobody bugs bugs. Like Terminex.
Court is now in session. What's the charge?
That Foot Locker's got the ultimate outdoor basketball collection.
What's their evidence?
The Nike Air Raid, Reebok Boulevard Blacktop, the Fila Cage, and the Converse Starman.
Does the defense rest?
Never. The verdict? We find Foot Locker guilty as charged of having the ultimate outdoor basketball collection.
We got next.
Whoa!
Well, we want to be together, but not too close together.
It's their first visit. I have a small car, and they are my parents.
For the way you travel today more than ever, the Smart Money is on budget. Rent a minivan with unlimited mileage for just $249 per week. The Smart Money is on budget.
Right fielder Chino Martinez.
Now there's Ben McDonald, who made a rather intriguing play over at first base to retire Julio Franco.
It looked like he was trying out for the U.S. gymnastic team there. Brian Bohannon's the new pitcher.
And Chino Martinez swings at the first pitch, so 1 pitch, 1 out for Brian Bohannon, the left-hander, who was appearing now in his second game in this young season.
Former #1 draft choice of the Texas Rangers. Throws to 4 pitches, fast curve, slide, and changeup. And he has been on the disabled list every year since being the #1 choice back in 1987. Long on promise, but the arm problems have been miserable. And Kevin Kennedy trying to keep warm with the bag.
It's not a new type of fungo that he's trying out. It's the old hot water bag.
He's asking Jerry Naron, his bench coach, hey, what's going on tonight? Jerry saying we aren't doing too good on the defensive end, and we're not doing too much with the bats. Nolan probably deserved a little better pace, but he didn't really have his great control tonight. He had good stuff, but didn't have his real sharp control.
Yeah, a couple of big pitches, and there's Hewlett. Watch out there. That almost pierced an umbrella. Up in the about 30 rows up. Tim Hewlett had a big double to lead off the 4-run fourth inning. I got to give the fans the nod for hanging in. This is not... I mean, when you live down here, you don't expect many nights at 47 degrees and a rain for the entire evening. You have your choice of most of the other 80 dates that it's going to be a little bit warmer, a little bit nicer. Certainly here in Texas. Hewlett hitting the ball to center field. David Holtz draws a beat on it. Almost erased the beat on it. Made the catch. Let's go over to Gary.
Chris Budweiser takes us back to Skydome, and the Jays have come all the way back. DeLucia's still in there, and Ed Sprague goes opposite field and dumps it in there. That'll bring home Darren Jackson. They were down 7-0, 9-3. It's 9-9 in the 8th. Back to you.
Ed Ocean Sprague with the tying base hit.
Filling in quite nicely for the departed Kelly Gruber in the early going.
Harold Reynolds fouls off the first pitch. You know, it occurred to me, and I think a lot of times this is overlooked, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything here, but you looking at Harold Reynolds and all the community service that he did when he was a member of the Seattle Mariners, winning one of George Bush's points of light, and you know how involved Cal Ripken is in the Oriole area, and Glenn Davis is so very much involved. The Orioles, and they certainly are not alone, but you've got some major players with their free time giving back either dollars, time to charity, and I think that gets overlooked a lot. Well, Harold Reynolds is one of the best.
Yeah, and you can throw Rick Sutcliffe into that mix as well, because the Orioles probably have more guys that are in that community spirit than any other team right now.
Here's a nice spirit in left field by Juan Gonzalez, robbing Reynolds of a base hit. So Gonzalez can play some outfield, and heaven forbid a 1-2-3 inning for Brian Bohannon.
There were no losers in this one. We want to remind you to join us on May 5th when HBO Sports presents the not-so-great moments in